So I've worked underwater for around 20 years now, in lots of different ways, using sound, film, photography, and installation. And it's a place that I have decided to work, or I've chosen to work for a lot of different reasons. But I'm particularly interested in our human relationship with this place. It's a place that takes us outside of the everyday, where our relationship with our environment and ourselves, our body completely shifts. And I'm really interested in using that as a way of looking at ourselves in the everyday. I think it's really important that artists make work about the oceans and connect with the oceans through their practice, as a way of thinking about our relationship with this space in the everyday with the people around us. Common Heritage, the film I've just made about the imminent threat of deep sea mining, particularly focuses on this, as I'm interested in how we can connect with the deep. It's one of the biggest issues, I think, of our time, the potential of deep sea mining. Yet to me, it feels like it's very much gone under the radar. It's happening in the background, but you don't hear very much about it in the everyday. And I think it's just really important that people are aware of what's about to happen in deep sea mining, aware of all the issues and all of the extreme complexities of the issue, so that we can talk about it and have a say in what happens in our oceans. I think the deep ocean is just an incredible space. Not that I've had the privilege of going to the deep myself, but it's so extraordinary. It's so outside of our knowledge of things, of our everyday. And I think if I could take somebody down there to show them, I think it's just for us to understand our place in the world, our place in nature, and the extraordinariness of what's going on down there, all the creatures and the ecosystems that are happening around there that are so important in what's going on in our planet. For us to start to understand, the importance of this space and what's happening and our relationship with the space. I think something that you get even just from going into the ocean is a real sense of scale and of our place. That's what I love about going diving, for example, is you feel so small in this incredible world that's around you, and you realize how much is going on around you, and it really helps give perspective on what's going on in our lives around us. Common Heritage is a film about the imminent threat of deep sea mining for rare earth minerals. It's set around Arvid Pardo's speech to the United Nations in 1967, which was an incredible, evocative speech where he says that he's noticed some activities that are going in the waters around him. He's the ambassador of Malta, and is just saying this is a moment off the back of 2 world wars that could make us or break us, but we need to manage what is happening in the deep ocean. And so to make the film, we used the speech as a kind of structure for the film. And I asked Gwyneth Jones, who's a female science fiction writer, to narrate some of the speech that kind of leads us through the story. And it takes us through the United Nations conferences on the law of the sea that happened for 10 years that led up to the Common Heritage and Mankind Treaty being drawn out. I also worked with the National Oceanography Centre in Southampton and used their archive material and worked with some of the scientists quite closely there, and understanding what's happening at the moment with deep sea mining. So the film moves between, it uses this archive material as a kind of the fantasy to draw the viewer into the fantasy of this deep, and it asks us to reflect or question our relationship with the deep. So we get drawn into this kind of fantastical world, and then we're asked to question the impacts of that when we think of it as another world. So yeah, it's kind of looking at the histories of what's happened in trying to govern these places, and asking us to question, looking at where we're at this moment where we're about to go in, and using the past as a way to think about how we might move forward in the future. I was inspired to make Common Heritage because of my fascination with the deep ocean. It's the first piece of work I've made that engages specifically with the deep. And it's a space that I've had a real fascination with for a long time, and discovering what's happening down there, all the activity. What interests me is it's such a concealed place to most of us in the everyday. You know, it feels so remote, but actually the importance of not thinking about it as remote, but actually thinking of it as a place that is with us, it's around us all the time. So I just felt really it was really important to make a film about what's happening, as it's so critical.